we return to the ordeal of Bangladesh and particularly the plight of minorities. The religious freedom that we have been talking about under the new interim government led by Muhammad Yunus. And who exactly is Muhammad Yunus? Just last week, viewers, Muhammad Yunus, the man the West would like us to believe is the Messiah, the reformist of Bangladesh, made a complete U-turn on the plight of minorities and particularly the Hindus. And this is what he says. The claims of targeting of Hindus is quote unquote exaggerated. Well, tonight I bring to you the grim reality that Bangladeshis are facing, persecuted Hindus are facing under this new interim formation. Officials from the Home Ministry in Bangladesh have now announced that all puja and musical instruments and sound systems must be turned off 5 minutes before the azaan and namaz timings during the upcoming Durga Puja festival. Ladies and gentlemen, this announcement in Bangladesh by the interim government is not only a direct attack on secularism in Bangladesh, but it also shows you the dire state of religious freedom of minorities in Bangladesh who no longer enjoy the liberty to celebrate their own festivals without curbs, without any restrictions. What is most intriguing is that it is not a Jamaat-led, BNP-led government that has come up with what is being called by the Bangladeshi Hindus as a Taliban-style dictate. It is the interim government of Muhammad Yunus that has increasingly, in the last few weeks, has turned into a patron of fundamentalist elements in Bangladesh, from pardons to closed-door meetings to now extreme diktats. These events are not isolated incidents that the interim government of Yunus wants to brush aside as insignificant. The trend is absolutely crystal clear. Be it torching housing of Hindus, look at how musician Rahul Ananda's house was torched to more than 205. Recorded incidents of violence targeting minorities to over 70 Hindu teachers being forced to leave their jobs by mobs of students. And Yunus wants us to believe that nothing has really happened. To incidents of places of worship and temples being targeted in various parts. Mr. Yunus must understand that the latest decree of his government is not just a reaction against Hindus who happen to be in the crossfire for being Awami League supporters. To his order of Home Department is a symptom of a larger backsliding of human rights of minorities in Bangladesh, which is not fueled by political vengeance, but by a fundamentalist agenda. And if fundamentalists are starting to dictate terms in Bangladesh, what does this mean for the national security of Bangladesh, of India, and the entire subcontinent by extension? Think about it, viewers, while you watch this report, and then we begin the debate.
Horrific stories of fatal attacks on Hindus in Bangladesh are surfacing every day. Ever since Muhammad Yunus, known for his close ties to the Democrats in America, has become the face of the interim government in Bangladesh, the minorities in Bangladesh since then have been witnessing a serious assault on their identity. From violent targeting of Hindu groups in the name of student protest, to Hindu teachers being made to allegedly sign prepared resignation letters by mobs of students.
যদি আমি সিগনেচার না করি তাহলে আমাকে ফিজিক্যাল হ্যারাসমেন্ট করবে।
To the Yunus government's alleged pardoning spree, to hardliners in Bangladesh, to the alleged meeting with anti-India terror elements, Yunus' every move in the last few days has jeopardized the lives of Hindus in the Islamic nation. Less than a week ago, in a recent interview to PTI, Yunus had claimed that India is exaggerating the attacks on Hindu minorities. However, in a shocking development, Bangladesh's Home Affairs Advisor, Lieutenant General Muhammad Jahangir Alam Chaudhry, has declared that the puja committees should turn off Durga Puja rituals and sound systems 5 minutes before azaan.
আজান ও নামাজের সময় যেন কোনো বাদ্যযন্ত্র বা মাইকের ব্যবহার নিয়ন্ত্রণ রাখা মাইক সেই সময় বন্ধই রাখতে হবে। এটাও ভাই আমাদের সাথে এগ্রি করছে। আজানের কমের পক্ষে 5 মিনিট আগেই এই ধরনের কার্যকলাপ বন্ধ রাখতে হবে এবং নামাজ শেষ হওয়া পর্যন্ত এই ধরনের কার্যকলাপ বন্ধ রাখতে হবে। আর ভাই আমার সাথে আরও এগ্রি করছে এরা সবাই।
Reportedly, there has been as many as 205 cases of attacks on members of the minority communities in Bangladesh after August 5, with 5 confirmed cases of deaths. While Bangladesh is facing its worst economic crisis, is Dhaka too fixated on appeasing the radicals?
Mr. Bijan Kanti of the BNP, the interim government says that this is an exaggerated narrative that has been peddled by India. The Bangladesh Hindu, Buddhist, Christian Unity Council says 45 out of the 64 districts in the country witnessed targeted killings of Hindus. This is an organization which operates from Bangladesh, stating that 205 attacks have taken place in the last 40 days. Mr. Bijan Kanti, how exactly is this a propaganda by India?
This is totally a false propaganda.
I am not saying this. The Bangladeshi Hindu, Buddhist, Christian Unity Council is saying this.
That council is politically motivated. They are supporting government that
So Mr. Bijan Kanti, a short while back.
That was just 1 month ago.
A short while back.
They are always that government.
I think so,
that government has no way to come back.
I had a first-hand account. Okay, for a minute, let me put this out for you. For a minute,
Yeah.
if I'm to believe what you are saying is correct, that this is a politically affiliated organization, so this is a misleading statement. Let me just tell you.
Yes.
30 minutes ago, I spoke to Hindus in Bangladesh on live television documenting what has happened. Now, will you label that also propaganda? I'll play this out. I'll play that interview for you.
You will find a lot of false documentations. And you were mentioning the teachers and other people were attacked and they were forced to resign. But you are not mentioning, in comparison to this, how much people of majority, that is Muslims, were forced to resign. This is an outburst of the mass movement. It was a movement against the Awami League, against a fascist government. And you have to accept those things. Because people are not controlled by anyway.
Mr. Salahuddin, you've heard what the BNP has to say, that now it's becoming a situation like every incident that has taken place, anyone who is saying anything about the minorities in Bangladesh is now simply being labeled as this, that you are a propagandist, either you are part of the Awami League, either you are pro-Sheikh Hasina. But the reality is this, even if we are documenting and putting it out for Bijan Kanti, it is what is extremely disheartening is that you are not even acknowledging that yes, minorities have been targeted. That's the unfortunate part. Salahuddin, you are also from Bangladesh. I want you to tell all our viewers what's really happening on the ground.
You are telling about the minorities, but these people, those who are attacked, they are not only the minorities. They are the activists of the fascist government.
So that's good enough for them to be targeted, even if they are activists. Even Mr. Bijan Kanti, for Mr. Mohammed Yunus, who's seen as the poster boy of the West, someone who's a beacon of peace, who said that we will bring an end to autocracy. If that is the case, this is what his example of bringing about peace in Bangladesh is like. Where you have diktats like this, that Hindus will not be able to perform their own rituals, that before namaz, they should end all their rituals.
It was practiced in our country from many years ago. During the time of azaan, during the time of the prayer,
Radharaman Das, Mr.
we
Salahuddin.
must
Yes.
control our
Okay,
I'd
Mr.
like to-
Salahuddin, Mr. Salahuddin,
I'd like to tell
two such incidents have
Mr.
happened. Two such incidents that have happened in the last few days, and you've had the BNP and various others from the interim government saying that this is a practice that has been going on for years. So what is the problem?
it is true that this kind of the practice, the attack on Hindus, it has been happening during.
No, they
every
are saying
government.
that
It is true.
if the rituals are being stopped before azan, this has happened in the past. So why there should be no
Yeah,
problem.
I'm coming
Accept
to
it,
the
live
point.
with it.
I am coming to the point. I'm coming to the point. And this rituals should be paused. It is also happening during the past government because all governments are Muslim government. You should remember that. But I would like to raise one very important issue here. When you are talking about persecution of minorities and you are saying it's not persecution of minorities, but it is a political matter, then I would like to bring here the case of Utshav Mandal, the Hindu boy who was mercilessly beaten inside the police station by a mob of Islamists. And his condition was so
For Mr.
critical
Bijan Kanti, is
he
that
has to-
propaganda? Is Mr. Salahuddin,
No,
what he is
let me
saying is
finish.
also
Let me
propaganda,
finish.
and Mr.
Please, let me
Radharaman
finish.
also. Mr.
No,
Radharaman
let me
Das
finish. And-
is a
No,
respected
actually,
individual.
This boy,
Radharaman Das, the vice president of ISKCON, vice president of ISKCON is a respected
finish, please. I
individual.
have one point.
Mr. Radharaman
I
Das,
have to raise
Bijan
one
Kanti
point.
is saying that what you are saying, and I want to have Bijan Kanti as well, Radharaman Das on air right now. Radharaman Das, you've called this as a Taliban-y diktat, but according to Mr. Bijan Kanti, you are a propagandist.
I am very shocked. Actually, the Bangladeshi government, according to their own survey, the Hindu population has declined from 29% to now almost around 7%. So this is the data of Bangladeshi government. Dhaka University, they conducted a survey, and they are telling that the Hindu population has declined from 29% to 7%. So this is not our data. This is what the Bangladesh government has declared. And it
Mr.
is very
Masroor-
shocking to be in denial mode. We saw what happened in 2022 during Durga Puja. Somebody, some person, he just made some false allegation, and he himself actually planted the book, and then there were riots, and hundreds of Hindus' houses were burnt, women were raped. And
No,
so
but
many
there is
were
what is the
killed. Even
according,
our
Mr. Bijan
ISKCON devotee was
Kanti, you
murdered
heard,
inside our
but Mr. Radharaman Das, you've heard what BNP leader Mr. Bijan Kanti is saying. Bijan Kanti is saying that
I am
these are
not denying-
activists.
I
These
am
are
denying
activists
the
who have been
statement
targeted.
Mr. Radharaman, I am not denying the statement of Mr. Radharaman, but it is not the case of Dr. Yunus government. It is because of many other regions. It is from very old.
Are you
from very
justifying, Mr. Bijan Kanti? I have not heard, from the time that you've joined the debate, I have not heard a single word of condemnation. Not a single word of condemnation. Innocent lives have been lost, even if they were activists, even if they were activists of the Awami League. For the sake of argument, even if they were activists of the Awami League, please tell me something. Are you now justifying bloodshed on the streets
it was a
of?
continuous process in our country. Sometimes these things are occurred, but from
These things occur.
this-
Now, according to you, these things
this
occur.
is government. It is not due to
How
Dr.
is it?
Yunus
How is it
government.
any different? How is it any different from the government that you were fighting all this while? How are you any different? If you are not being able to protect the lives of innocent lives, not just Hindus, but the fact of the matter, there are other minorities who have also been targeted. If you can't protect them, how exactly are you saying that this is absolutely
I do
okay,
agree,
that this
but
happens?
you are always telling the life of minorities. It was not the life of minorities. It was the life of the people of the country. Because of political
I have Masroor Maula.
matters politically. It is not only for the minorities. The
Let me
majority
just-
peoples were also disturbed. They were also attacked. They were also facing the problems. But it is not only for the minorities. Okay, nothing should be done. Everything should be stopped. But
Mr.
you have to
Masroor,
consider
Mr.
the
Masroor,
whole
I'll just
thing
request you to.
In case of the fall of a fascist government and the outburst of the people.
Okay,
It will be
Bijan Kanti,
easy
let me
to
also bring in
very soon,
Masroor
I think.
Maula.
And
Masroor
already
Maula is the
people
Special
are-
Envoy for International Affairs, Jatiyo Party. Masroor, I'll just request you to stay a little stable for us to get your right frame. Mr. Masroor, Radharaman Das, a respected individual from Bangladesh, has already called this diktat that we saw earlier in
I am
the day.
from
You
Kolkata. I am from Kolkata. I am from Kolkata.
I beg your pardon. Sorry, Mr. Radharaman Das, I got that wrong. But
Yeah.
you have spoken about the diktat of the interim government. Masroor Maula, please tell me, one, every number that we have quoted, according to Bijan Kanti and many others, this is a list of propaganda. I'm told that Mr. Masroor Maula, there's a problem with his connectivity. I'll take this question to Mufti Manzoor. Mufti Manzoor, you've heard the BNP gentleman making a point here. BNP gentleman says that, look, this is all about politics. So somewhere down the line, he's not really denying the fact that this is happening in Bangladesh. Now, you tell me, isn't this persecution for those who have been saying democracy is in danger in India, should actually now wake up and see what's really happening in the subcontinent?
ट्रू मैं इस्कॉन के जो जिम्मेदार शख्स हैं उन्होंने जो बातें कही हैं मैं अग्री करता हूं और इस तरीके की जो चीजें वहां पर हुई हैं उसकी दिल से भी हम सबको मिलकर के डिनाई करना चाहिए और उसे पूरी दुनिया में उन्हें माफी मांगना चाहिए। बांग्लादेश हुकूमत ने जिस तरीके से माइनॉरिटीज के साथ जुल्म और ज्यादती की है इसकी कहीं पर भी जायज इसको नहीं कहा जा सकता। एक सूरत यह होती है कि मुल्क के अंदर में होने वाले फसादात वहां के माइनॉरिटीज को तहफ्फुज़ फराहम करना यहाँ की गवर्नमेंट की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी थी, लेकिन उस रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी को ना शेख हसीना ने कबूल किया, ना ही एक्सेप्ट किया और ना ही उस पर अमल किया और ना ही ये शेख यूनुस साहब कर रहे हैं। वहां के मुसलमानों के साथ साथ जिम्मेदारी मुसलमानों की भी बनती है कि वो वहां के हिंदू भाइयों को जो कि अकलियत में है उनका शुमार हो रहा है उनको प्रोटेक्ट करना वहां के मुसलमानों की जिम्मेदारी है। और मैंने एक फोटो और वीडियो वहां का देखा, इस्कॉन के जिम्मेदार साहब से मैं कहना चाहूंगा कि वहां के मदरसे के बच्चों ने मंदिरों की हिफाजत के लिए लाठी डंडे लेकर रात भर खड़े रहे हैं वहां पर। ये एक नक्शा भी वहां से हमें देखने को मिला। लेकिन कुल मिलाकर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बांग्लादेश हुकूमत की बनती है कि वहां के अकलियत को तहफ्फुज़ फराहम करना, वहां के माइनॉरिटी को सेफ्टी देना, ये उनकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है। अगर वो देने में नाकाम है तो हमारे ऊपर उंगली उठाने या हमसे कुछ बात कहने की उन्हें बिल्कुल हेज है उसका कहना कुछ भी। तो हमें चाहिए एक मिसाल कायम होना चाहिए। हिंदुस्तान में हम लोग तहफ्फुज़ के साथ हैं, बहुत ही अच्छे से यहाँ पर रह रहे हैं। हम पर जो लोग उंगलियां उठाते हैं उनको भी जवाब है ये कि देखो वहां पर क्या हो रहा है माइनॉरिटीज के साथ में, लेकिन हम अपने मुल्क में बहुत ही सेफ अच्छे से हैं, हम पर उंगलियां उठाने की बिल्कुल जरूरत नहीं है। और बांग्लादेश की जैसी चाइना के सपोर्टिंग हुकूमत को ये समझ लेना चाहिए कि ये बांग्लादेश में जिस तरह हो रहा है वो दुनिया में मैसेज जाएगा जो बिल्कुल खतरनाक होगा और बहुत ही बेकार होगा। इसलिए
बिजन कांति
को अभी सबक लेना चाहिए, होश के नाखून लेने की जरूरत है।
Mr. Bijan Kanti, your party has always targeted India in the past too. Back in 2024, your party has organized a protest which replicated the India Out campaign that we saw in Maldives. The reality is this, where the government had made it very clear, Indian government has been clear that we will be talking to those who are in power and the fact that we are in favor of peace in the subcontinent. But please tell me, when you are releasing Jashimuddin Rahmani, how exactly do you think anyone would be in a position to talk to anyone in Bangladesh? Mr. Bijan Kanti.
I am not getting the sound.
Okay, I'll just try and reconnect with you, but let me take this to Mr. Masroor Maula. Mr. Masroor Maula, at the start of the debate, I put out a testimony of Bangladeshi Hindus who have been persecuted. I put out the data from an organization operating out of Bangladesh. You have Mr. Salahuddin, who has been documenting what's happening in various districts in Bangladesh. But still this seems to be propaganda. How exactly is this a propaganda when the reality is this, that you have actually seen Kolapada's Municipal Mayor Bipul Haldar's house that was ransacked, set on fire. Private car that was parked outside his house was torched. Ananta Mukherjee's home, the Radhakrishna temple adjacent to it, was attacked by a mob of 20 to 25 people. A clothing store that was owned by Hindu was also set on fire. How exactly all of this is just simply propaganda, exaggerated narrative?
Thank you for giving me the stage to speak out. First of all, let me tell you whatever the news you have seen from the media or from other people, most of the news are propaganda.
How is it propaganda? Please counter me with facts. I have put out testimonies. I have spoken to Bangladeshi Hindus. I've interviewed them a short while back. How exactly is this propaganda?
The few informations which are saying, burning the temples and all those things, all these are done by the Awami League cadres. Why they were doing it? That is because to keep the government unrest. These are, because basically I will tell you, the interim government is very much.
Okay, Mr. Masroor, there seems to be some problem with your connectivity. We'll try and reconnect with it. Sir, Mr. Salahuddin, I want to give you one quick word, and then Mr. Radharaman Das also. Salahuddin, you've heard both the BNP leader as well as Masroor. Both seem to say that there is a political angle to it, and hence this is actually happening.
This is what they're saying. They belong to the same party. Yunus, BNP, and Jatiya Party, they are from the same party. Now, I would like to ask everyone one question. That Ushav Mandal was beaten mercilessly, admitted to the hospital, almost dead, and they have already filed a case under the Digital Security Act, Cyber Security Act, against the same Ushav Mandal, but there is no case against the attackers who beat him inside the police station. What does that mean? Because Ushav Mandal is a Hindu, he has no rights, no human rights, he can be beaten. Ushav Mandal represents the Hindu. So it proves that Hindus can be beaten anywhere. They can be beaten to death, no problem. And even if he's alive, survives the assault, there is again a case against him. But why there is no
Mr. Salahuddin,
case
you've managed to evoke some response from Masroor. Mr. Masroor, go ahead, make your point.
Yes. That is, you see, the news which I've seen, burning those houses, and you're talking about protecting Hindus. You see, the interim government is very much careful about protecting the Hindus as well as other religions. Whatever you have seen, these are done by the Awami League cadres. Why? To keep the country unrest. You see, our Bangladesh army as well as our other intelligence tools, they are very much protecting. And because of the puja is near, so that is the reason
Mr. Radharaman Das, Mr. Radharaman Das,
the government.
Do you accept the justification? Do you accept the justification that Mr. Masroor is saying?
Because you have heard a lot of propaganda.
You cannot call Mr. Radharaman Das a propagandist.
No, that is not true. Hindus are 100% safe. Better than, you see, when the Awami League, the previous.
I'm running out of time, Mr. Radharaman Das. Do you accept this justification?
Situation on ground is very bad. Reports every day we are getting terrible news from Bangladesh. And we are really afraid that now in 20
Mr.
days,
Radharaman Das, I'm sorry I had to interrupt you because I'm really running short of time, but this is an issue that we will keep raising, because what has essentially happened is that this is now becoming the other issue that has been brushed aside. And the fact that when temples are being burnt, when Hindus are being targeted, you have political parties in Bangladesh and the poster boy of the West essentially trying to tell you that it is exaggerated in nature. But that's not the case, ladies and gentlemen.